What's going on? Boys, thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff. Arm yourselves, life stuff. Everybody tells you what to do and how you're supposed to live, but they suck and they live according to a set of rules they didn't create. Most people never live the lives they want to lead. They never know themselves. And they do that because to get outside the norm, to make your way outside the norm, it's a brutal and confusing process. If you want to do something other than try to fit in and structure yourself and your activities around what other people think you should be doing or what they think is cool. And that's especially true for relationships. Why do I move quickly? Why do I gravitate toward women who move quickly? Because wasting a lot of unnecessary time playing games invented by humans that I don't need to play, it hurts my pride. I don't like it. It feels demeaning. Doing something the way some dipshit thinks you should be doing it. And I bring that up because in my current connection, the honeymoon phase lasted about 5 days. It's like 7 days to die. At the end of the 7th day, you better be ready because it's not going to be pretty. And this wasn't pretty. This was black belt level combat. And this was brutal shit. I knew she wasn't pleased about the Bannerman thing, but that, at least for now, mostly resolved itself because the Bannerman had some dignity. But I told her about it immediately because, for me, I'm of the mind people can deal with almost anything as long as everybody is being totally honest at all times. But a time after she should have, she mentioned she was still in contact with her ex, who was the standard bum young dude. And ENTJ women get into these relationships all the time. Patrice's theory was because higher level women still want to feel like women, but lots of dudes aren't going to approach them that way because they're higher level, they'll get with bums who will drag them down to their level and put them below them, and that does make them feel like women, but in a fucked way. And that annoyed me because girls are really dumb. 1 minute they are Sherlock Holmes, the other minute they are Helen Keller. And I know a lot of that is natural, but it still can be infuriating because sometimes it isn't. Anyway, it was clear she was keeping him around because she wanted to punish a dude who had mistreated her, which is a bad sign for a bunch of reasons. One, there's an attachment there still. Two, when you feel like you need to get back at somebody and make them feel that they wronged you or make them understand how much they fucked up, that person owns you. And I don't mean that in a metaphysical way or in an abstract way or a self-respect way. I mean, people who are like that, they'll use or do anything they can to make you interact with them. They get something out of it. Even if it's negative, like wanting to punish them, or even if it is hard negative, like they get hurt from it, that still validates them. It's a different sort of person It's, you deal with them a lot when you do YouTube. They'll do anything to get any kind of leverage on you, to make you validate them. And the only way you can make people like that stop is to give them nothing. They talk about committing suicide. Good luck with that. They threaten you in some way. We do not negotiate with terrorists, and until something happens, I'll be living my life as if you don't exist. And people like this are tricky because you have to mean it. If you actually mean it, most of them will go somewhere else, or over time they'll get bored. A select few will go nuclear, but that's why you need to be ready for that. It's an unfortunate thing having to deal with these people, but that's the only way I've found to deal with them. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, and you're going to deal with it, but you're not going to give in to terrorists' demands, because if you do it once, even a little bit, you set the precedent. They have leverage over you, and they will proceed to get more leverage. So I'm annoyed. Well, I'm hurt first because when I give someone total honesty, I give it to them with the understanding we're sharing this so we can deal with problems. It's easy to be honest about comfortable stuff. It is difficult to be honest about ugly shit, but ugly shit, at least between two people who trust each other, is what honesty is there for, so you can see it and deal with it now. And then I noticed something, I caught something. She felt betrayed with the Bannerman thing, as she was doing something worse and not telling me about it. And the Bannerman thing is separate. Well, it's kind of similar, because Bannerman was an escape route. And that's an ugly thing to say, but it's true. But I don't lie, and I trust myself not to make damning, dishonest decisions. And furthermore, even if we were going the uglier route, women can establish a pecking order. That's what your bottom bitch is. You can't do the same thing with dudes, because dudes never learn their place. Women do learn their place, eventually, which is one of the things we'll be talking about. Anyway, I'm immediately honest about an uncomfortable situation I have under control. She was dishonest about a bad situation she did not have under control, and also didn't handle well. So we had a pretty serious disagreement, one that changes the way things are going to work and is truer to life, what will be, and I'm glad we got it out of the way. However, that was some true Mortal Kombat shit. Part of the reason I started to feel disgust for her was she was irradiated with this pathetic, loser, wormy, manipulated dude energy. And she learned it well, that's the thing. She negotiated with terrorists, and she learned to become a terrorist, metaphorically, in Minecraft. And she started pulling terrorist tactics on me. But this is what I mean by one price of manhood, because there are many prices. Never forget, you are the most important person in your life. When you're dealing with a high-level terrorist, they know where to push to make you comply, to make you negotiate. But if you do it even a little bit, and it would be so easy. If you do it even a little bit, just to make the discomfort go away, the precedent has been set. You're a bitch, and it might take a long time to bring the full bitch out of you, but she will do it. Because you've proven you will comply at the end of the day. And you can't have that. For you or for her. These dumb motherfuckers don't understand the only place they'll lead you both. If they're steering the ship, the only place they're going to steer, it's going to be the Titanic. Straight into an iceberg. Everybody dies. It's your will alone. It's your guidance alone. With accommodations for her if she's acting right. And that's it. Well, no, that's not it. Her compliance is another part of this. But it's not just compliance, because that is an evil. I'm smiling right now, it's so evil. Evilly clever terrorist tactic. Some women will comply with you and try to make it seem like she and you are on the same page, but you can feel something is wrong with it. And if you fall for it, if you fall into that little trap, you're a bitch. She's got you. So it's not just compliance, it is true buy-in that needs to be established in one of these combats. Maybe I'll change the title to something related to Mortal Kombat. And I'm learning there is only one way to deal with this. It's just crazy that we had this level of duel this quickly. I haven't been in the fighting pits like this in a long time. And against the ignoblest of foes. I'm not fighting a Valkyrie here. I'm fighting a worm, born in worms, raised by worms, presenting itself as a Valkyrie. And Patrice O'Neal talks about the only way to deal with this, but I don't think he impressed the importance of it on people enough. Because if you care about your dignity, there is only a few ways this can go. First comes the combat. You tell her what she's doing, probably why she's doing it, why she shouldn't be doing it, what she should be doing instead, and you give lots of reasons. The harder to argue with, the better. There are tricks you can pull, but it's better if you don't pull them. You don't want to get reliant on them. Because if you use tricks on her, they might work a few times, but eventually she's going to pick up on it and use them against you, and then you're shit out of luck because your fundamentals are fucked. And you'll know you're getting somewhere when she tries to change tactics. 2 examples from this blowout. Her spirit visited us and made the machine wig out. One of the things she did was the try to make everything better and do false compliance thing, which that is tricky for all the reasons we just talked about, but also because if you fall for it, the real problem never gets addressed. And I think most dudes will take this painless route when presented, because it at least stops the pressure. But you need the pressure if there's a problem, or the problem is going to get worse. So that was one tricky thing she did. Another tricky thing she did was try not to engage, but as a person who presents herself as an engager, as a fighter, now, at this moment, all of a sudden, try not to engage. Or I'm not going to bite, we're not going to argue about this. We are going to argue about this. And the fact you're trying to weasel out of it this way, It's wormy, it's antithetical to the woman I think you are. As a dude, also, that's usually evidence you're getting close to something. Because the closer you get to something, the trickier they'll be in trying to redirect or misdirect or get out of it, get away from it. Stay on target. And your gut in these situations is your targeting computer. Your gut knows, it doesn't know what's wrong exactly or what the issue is. Maybe you have some suspicions, but you're not sure. Your gut will let you know when it's okay to let up. And you don't let up, you don't stop explaining to her and arguing with her until your gut says it's okay to calm down now. And this is the last tricky thing she did, and this was... I haven't encountered this one. This is... Jesus, this is the Cuban Missile Crisis of tactics. And I think it was a tit-for-tat thing. I didn't bite when she tried to do the false cooldown, the false everything is okay, the feint. So, toward the end, we were getting to the point, alright, I know something is still wrong, but we've gotten to a point, we're gonna have to do this again, and this is what I wanted to avoid. I don't like leaving shit on the table. If we're buying a ticket to the fighting pits, let's get all the fighting out and settled then, so we can relax afterward. This is exactly what I didn't want to do. Leave it on the table, but we're at a point right now, okay, I'm feeling a lot more relaxed. We'll handle this another time. And then she switched up. She gave me a fuck you sort of response, and I think wanted to leave it there. But no, stupid. Let's go ahead and handle it then. But the reason that's the Cuban Missile Crisis is that's a major challenge. Because what women are trying to do is control the flow of the river. They want to have control of the river, and they want you to be this little person in a boat at the mercy of the river. And that's... you can't let it be that way. You need to be the one controlling the flow. Because as we stated, yes, loser dudes are going to steer you into an iceberg, but high-level dudes won't. But all women will. Why do you think there's so much misery in the world today? Lots of women running lots of shit, and dudes who won't do anything about it. Maybe can't, but a lot won't. We'd rather just not, so we're just gonna fucking do whatever. Fuck it. That, what she did, was a last-minute extreme rejection of your flow control. And every time a woman pulls a move on you, the only thing you can do is sigh and pick up your logic club and beat her in the head until she does one of two things. Either she crawls back up under your wing and calms down, or she leaves. Or she puts you in a position in which you're going to have to leave. And a situation in which you're going to have to leave is a situation in which she refuses to get in line. You can't force a woman to buy in. All you can do is create the conditions under which she may or may not choose to buy in. And that, of course, involves beating her over the head with better arguments and more endurance and clever tactics than she has. More righteousness, more light. And this is what I mean by one price of manhood. In this instance, it seems like she has crawled back under my wing and things are going to be fine for a while. It's weird because Jesus Christ, that was... But this is why you want things to move fast, because it's harder to control the race car you're driving. But if you're going to crash, it's better to crash early. I think we managed not to crash. Only because I'm so great. And also because she is... I don't know the word. What would the word be? It's not humble, although humbleness is part of it. I don't know. She's something enough. And we'll see going forward if that's going to be enough. And I think it... Oh, I think it will be. It would have been nice to have stayed in the dream a little bit longer. But we're in real life now, and we were going to have to get here at some point. It's better we get here in 5 days than in 5 months, so we haven't wasted our time. But there are other ways that could have gone, and other ways that will go, that are deeply unfortunate. It's sad. It's all sad. It's all sad. But the latter two are sadder. And this is where she leaves or puts you in a position in which you have to leave. But saying leave frames it wrong because the emphasis is placed on her. It should be phrased as leave her behind. Because what you're doing is you are sailing. You are the captain of your vessel. And of the two sadder options, it's actually better for everybody if she jumps off board. Maybe it'll hurt you. Probably it'll hurt you. If you got to this point at all, it's going to hurt a bit. But at least it's not on you in that case. And you can move on a lot more freely. That last one, though, oh my god. Leaving her dumb ass in some strange port or on some dumb island. Look, I can't make you get in line. I can't, and I don't want to make you get in line is the other thing. You don't, on a ship, ships are rough. The sea is foul to man. I think Johnny Rico talks about this in Starship Troopers and about Cap Troopers. He doesn't want to go into battle with somebody who doesn't want to be there, even if they're capable, because if any part of them doesn't want to be there, then everything is jeopardized. That's why you don't want to force a woman to comply. If you could, but you have to get physical to do that, and we are on the not hitting women team, even though it would be nice to smack them upside the head sometimes. All you can do is create the conditions under which she will or won't do her job. Locate herself within chain of command. You show her why the chain of command exists, you show her how it operates, and she has all these problems. Well, I don't like this, I don't like that, or why don't we do it this way? And this is what I mean by you have to be a higher, or try to be a higher level dude. If you can't answer those basic questions, then you're probably not fit to be a captain in the first place. You should go sail... You hear the lightning crackle. You should get on a dinghy and start sailing in streams alone until you figure out how sailing works. And then build yourself up into a person who can answer the basic shit, who understands chain of command so you can explain it on the basic level, which is where I am. I feel competent enough to explain chain of command and deal with most issues. The difficulty comes when she starts throwing karate kicks at you and like tying your shoelaces together while you aren't looking so you fucking trip. That's what these dumb bitches do. And that's why all the shit. And it's kind of crazy. The tricks I could deal with. Frustrating, but I can deal with. The lying about something serious by omission, the not participating in absolute honesty, trying to make something work here in good faith, and not even in good faith is such an overused term. Selfishly putting your neck on the line, putting yourself on the slab because this is something you want. I'm doing that. She doesn't do that. That's a really big deal. But something in my guts, and that changes everything. That 100% changes the game. Knowing that that's there. Because people don't change. That's almost certainly not going to go away. Maybe it'll stop for a while, but it's always going to be there. That changes everything. But that's still doable if I make some changes too, which I can. I'll need to think about that. But that final one, that final heel turn and fuck you, of all the shit, and this went on for about 2 days, of all the shit, that was going to be, or could have been, the kicker. But, as I said, I clubbed her over the head, and we dealt with it as much as I think we're going to deal with it, for now. But, god damn if that didn't set precedent, if that doesn't set the tone. But my thing is, I think every relationship is going to be like this. If it's a relationship worth pursuing, actually worth investing in. Because I can't deal with the avoidant thing where they want you to chase them. I have too much pride and not enough patience to do that. Fighting, like, oh my god, vicious trench fighting. I can do that, but it's going to be really exhausting, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to relax the way you dream of relaxing. But that's part of the cost of being a man. You know what it's a lot like? And maybe this is why I like this dumb, shitty game. It's a lot like playing State of Decay 2 on Lethal, which I am now doing. There are 28 plague hearts on the map. I've killed 9 of them. Melee killed all of them, and now we're in this period of gruesome subsistence. But we're getting there. State of Decay, and this is, holy shit. We're gonna put a review in the middle of a video. I'm gonna do a full review of State of Decay Lethal one day, once I finish it. State of Decay 2 is a knowledge game. And it speaks to me because it's fucking dumb and unintuitive. Nothing works the way you think it should. The way a lot of shit works doesn't make sense, as in, you can't just, for example, when you're fighting a plague heart, you can't just stack C4 all around the plague heart and detonate it all at once. It'll count as one. You have to gap your explosives. And Molotovs, you throw a firebomb on it. You can't shoot the plague heart while the fire is burning, or it'll reduce your bullet, the damage your bullets are doing, by a quarter. That's fucking retarded. That's dumb. And the Juggernauts, there's a bullet minimum on them. You can't kill a Juggernaut with bullets unless you shot them at least, I think it's 28 times. Are you serious? And they have these health gates, so you can't, and I think there's some ways to do it, but in a lot of cases you can't kill them all at once either. It is such a dumb, unintuitive, obnoxious game. So why am I playing it? Why does this speak to me? Because it's a puzzle, and if you can figure it out, you can beat Lethal. Now, I'm saying this right now. We're going to talk about this in the State of Decay 2 review one day. Lethal is never going to be fun. Unless I develop a weird masochistic taste for this subsistence shit. I'm not having fun with this. Lethal is extraordinarily tedious. I'm playing it because Lethal is where your skills are tested. If you can beat Lethal, then you've proven you're somebody who can figure out arcane, obscure, unintuitive shit, and you have the endurance to push through it. Which I have, and I do. And that's gratifying, if nothing else. Younger me, probably, when she did that heel turn at the very last second, if that happened to me when I were 23, that would have hurt my feelings. I would have walked away from her, I would have had a cry, I would have felt bad for myself, and then I would start moving on. This time, all it did was frustrate the shit out of me and make me aggressive. Because, you dumb bitch, why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to us? Just get in line, holy shit. And, I've been sitting here thinking about it. Part of me wonders if it's actually going to get easier. That's copium. No, it's going to get worse. But if it did get easier, it would make a lot of sense. Because I think we are people who need big proof immediately. And then we can relax. And because she's dumb and doesn't know herself very well and was raised by a worm effectively and somehow was able, or became such a worm that she could outworm everybody but the worm who taught her to be a worm, even though that dude is a low-level worm. I think this was part of her trying to get big proof early. That's my suspicion. Now, because she's stupid, I don't think she realizes that's what she was doing. But that's why you're the captain. It's your job to understand the role of your ensign. I hope I'm using that correctly. Your ensign more than your ensign does. You don't know what it is to be an ensign, but in the bigger picture of the ship and its operations, you, the captain, need to know what's going on. So she probably doesn't know what she was doing. And that's annoying, but I'm hoping, fingers crossed, she fucking chills out a bit after this. Because that was like the Battle of the Somme. That wasn't the Battle of the Somme. That was... Because I know a Battle of the Somme is coming. That's going to be the really rough one. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it will, eventually. This was... What was that? Was it the Tet Offensive in Vietnam, where they weren't supposed to be doing shit because of a holiday, but then they did shit anyway? That's what that was. I was taking a clarity piss and taking some notes, and I found a good way to put what I'm talking about, but we also might have found another little revelation here. First, you need to maintain sovereignty over yourself, because if you don't, then she'll never respect you enough to follow you, and why would she? The problem is these stupid, vicious little dickheads is they will use your care for them against you. It really is like raising children. This may be your darling little child, but if you don't parent them correctly, then they're going to grow up spoiled. Except these are grown women who need you to parent them, to captain them. This is such a real thing, and I have no idea why wider society doesn't talk about it. That's shocking to me. This is some basic truth shit, but everybody acts like it isn't. There are so many reasons not to trust society, not to trust what seems obvious if you're raised in a socialized manner. Almost all of it, everything society says to you, wants you to believe, is bullshit that is designed to keep you unsatisfied and disempowered. It's fucked. And that's another thing. A captained woman is going to get a lot higher than an uncaptained woman will be, or will. Now, a woman with a bad captain is going to lead a very bad life. A woman with no captain might lead a pretty okay life, but in a fucked up way. A well-captained woman is a force to be reckoned with. I don't know why people don't talk about this. But anyway, here's the revelation. Women want you to choose yourself over them. That's why bum dudes get a hold of high-level women. On the lowest level possible, that is exactly what they do. They choose themselves over her. Because that is what they want, and that is what a man should be doing. But it's like they retarded their way into doing it naturally, but at the lowest level possible. Maybe it's a natural consequence of parasitism, I don't know. I don't think a woman will act right, ever, if you aren't ready at the drop of a hat to choose yourself. It's like they build their own little matrix around you. They are mini demiurges unto themselves. They build everything to make you not call that bluff or know that bluff for what it is. Everything will tell you not to choose yourself. But that's what they want you to do. They want you to choose yourself so they can respect you. And that's the fundamentals of it. I hesitate to say this. If you want to be a good man, you choose yourself with considerations for her, but I don't think they even want that. I think that makes them respect you less. It's a gross thing. We'll have to reflect on this. But this is what I'm talking about. Everybody says you have to take things slowly or take it easy, but you don't get anywhere going slowly, and you don't accomplish anything taking it easy. I mentioned this woman has been around the channel for a while, but I didn't know that she was the same person in different iterations, which I'm assuming all of you dumb bitches who are watching this are doing. And that's another thing. If you had a washout connection with a woman, but you kept your dignity, it seems like she never really goes away. The only women who will really go away are the ones who beat the shit out of you. Anyway, we're learning a lot very quickly. And wherever this goes, it's better that it happens quickly and that we're playing on the hardest difficulty so we can learn the way this life game is played. Because the only way you'll be able to live a life you are halfway satisfied with is if you can beat this game. And I don't think I don't think beating the game necessarily means becoming one of the great men or women of history. I think it means being able to live your life on your terms, terms that are satisfying to you, and you know how to do it so well you can replicate it no matter what curveballs, state of decay, life throws at you. That is the goal of the game, and that's the goal we're working toward. Unassailable, or almost unassailable, sovereignty over yourself. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.